Hello again, I am Blunty. So, Nintendo have officially announced a confirmed launch window for their mysterious new console, the currently codenamed Nintendo NX. Unlike many rumor mill predictions, or more accurately, wild guesses masquerading as rumors, we won't be seeing it in time for this year's holiday season. Instead, look for a March 2017 release. Nintendo, presumably terrified by the thought of competing with the PlayStation Goliath combo punch of their own strong holiday season, which is set to include not just the usual collection of big-name game properties, but no less than two new hardware releases, the PlayStation VR and the PlayStation 4 Neo. Although the PR spin for the fact that Nintendo is missing the lucrative holiday season launch is so they can have games to go with it. Which, considering the heavy rumours that a very large chunk of the games at launch will be mere remakes of Wii U titles, or like with the new Zelda title, a cross-platform clone, it all seems a bit laughable. And for a company that arrogantly never discounts even years-old games on retail shelves, I guess it makes sense for them to try and resell these existing games all over again. I mean, no one's buying them right now, because who the fuck is even still remotely interested in the Wii U? Ha ha! The Nintendo announcement comes from an investors' relations report, which is basically where Nintendo desperately tried to convince their investors that the company isn't a miserable, sloppy shadow of its former self circling the drain for a few years now and has been hemorrhaging the goodwill and faith of its loyalist-standing customer base. Current Nintendo president Tatsumi Kimishima is on record as saying the NX was going to abandon any link with the miserable failure that is the Nintendo Wii U, claiming this will be hardware made with a new way of thinking, which is what Nintendo always say about their new consoles. I mean, that's how we ended up with the Wii U in the first place. It was a new way of thinking. Yeah, how'd that work out for you, Nintendo? Not well? Maybe just stop trying to be a new way of thinking for the sake of being a new way of thinking and just actually deliver what the customers are asking for. Loudly. I don't know. Anyway, after a couple years or more of Nintendo pulling dick moves and sleazy bullshit against what used to be a very loyal and very, very passionate user base, and I count myself among that group of once loyal and now spectacularly bitter users, who the hell even cares about the NX? I mean, it's getting lots of press, mainly because it's a mystery right now, and humans by nature are curious. That's why we get new iPhone rumors like 7 months out from a new iPhone launch. Sure, we want to know what it actually is. Will it be the weird combo home console / handheld that many utterly unfounded wild guesses have been reporting as rumor? Will Nintendo join Sony and Microsoft on the easy-to-develop for and port-friendly x86 CPU architecture standards? Will they abandon their idiot ideals of gimmicky controllers and just go back to the near universal standard control pad layout to make life easy for users and developers and everybody? Will the performance and power be equal to or greater than the consoles we already have? How much greater will it be? Will it be enough? Or will Nintendo continue to make the catastrophic choice to retard their console's power for the sake of cost undercutting? And once more paint themselves right out of any interest third parties have of porting their multi-platform games across, so those who choose Nintendo as their primary platform aren't starved of anything but the sparse menu of first-party titles dribbling out. These and more are all very interesting questions, and I'm sure we're all hungry to know the answers. But the core question is, right at the base of all this, is who the fuck actually cares about the NX? In every report and rumour and quote and story I've read about the NX over the past, year or so has it been? It's all been about what it will be. But not once have I seen anybody in an article or a comment actually excited about owning a new Nintendo console. And why would you be, frankly? Nintendo have been systematically burning bridges with their fans. They're so woefully out of touch with what gaming communities are and do these days, it's almost laughable if it wasn't so frustrating and sad. Even I had to delete several of my own reviews of their Wii U titles. In many cases, these are games they sent me to review in the first place. Because soon after I published the video, they tried to copyright claim my own completely legal and fair use compliant video reviews of games like Mario Kart 8 and refused to acknowledge my own work as mine when I filed counterclaims or emailed their representatives directly. Apparently my review is their property just because I made a review of their game. No, that's not how it works, you fuckers. And that's just where it started for me, but they've been sending lawyers after hardcore fans for doing nothing more than running tool-assisted speedruns of their decades-old Mario games. When they send cease and desist letters to fans daring to have a Pokemon-themed party and celebrate a franchise they love. No, can't do that. This sleazy artificial rarity of Amiibo and the encouragement of sleazy eBay scalpers ripping off their customer base, compounding all that with horseshit repaints masquerading as limited editions over the top of this artificial scarcity of the regular ones, their attempt to essentially blackmail YouTubers who want to cover their games with a sleazy, overreaching and unfair so-called partnership, it's anything but by the way, when said YouTubers already have every legal right under the fair use doctrine of copyright law to publish reviews and commentary while using recorded gameplays. When Nintendo fire employees for being the victims of online bullying because it's all too embarrassing, and then use PR spin to try and weasel out of it. The list of dick moves from this myopic company goes on and on and on. And again, speaking personally, they have managed to erode every last drop of goodwill from me, where once I loved them, and then I merely gave them the benefit of the doubt, and then came under personal attack by them and their idiotic blind vendetta against people who just want to talk about their games to our audiences. Now, I genuinely have spite for Nintendo. I actively dislike them. In fact, I may even go as far to say as I hate them. I loathe them. They're a sleazy, out-of-touch, vile, hateful corporate monster, and I honestly hope the NX fails as miserably as the Wii U did. So then they are left with no choice but to sell themselves and get rid of the idiotic, aging, out-of-touch corpses that currently run the company. With luck, they'll sell to a company who want to keep their longest-standing customers and not just take a big wet shit over a once mighty brand and those of us who can't imagine our childhoods without them. So how about you? How curious are you about the NX, and how excited are you to actually give Nintendo some money to own a new Nintendo console? Because I'm guessing those two things are very separate in all of our minds. But that's it. My glass of haterade is now empty. I have slaked my thirst. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time. Good luck in the comment section, fanboys.